There's a stillness in the air as you approach the prison, 14 square miles isolated in the middle of the state, surrounded by farm country and the city of Stark. Only prison sounds jar the silence. Tower guards electronically open the gates, then shut them, dead tight. Over the last couple of months, security here has tightened, but there are other noticeable changes. There's tension in the air, and for a good reason. The recent electrocution of John Spinklink has brought the reality of dying much closer to the men on death row here at Florida State Prison. And for a group of 9 men, only a vote from the state's clemency board or pardon from Florida's Governor Bob Graham stand between them and the electric chair.
So much of me has died. I haven't been to the chair yet. So people don't know the changes an individual go through back there on death row.
29-year-old James Dupree Henry, convicted of murdering an Orlando man, doesn't know yet whether the clemency board will recommend life in prison or the electric chair. Robert Sullivan's in the same position, making him another one of the 9 whose case is being reviewed by the board. Sullivan was found guilty of murdering a Homestead hotel manager, first knocking him out with a tire iron, then shooting him in the head with a shotgun.
I think any human being who knows someone's going to come in and prepare them to be executed would resist. I think I would resist as hard as I could for my own self-respect. I have no desire to go out like a whimpering dog.
And Charles Prophet. When this film was taken in 1976, his case was about to go before the U.S. Supreme Court, making it, in fact, a test case for advocating Florida's death penalty law. When Governor Bob Graham signed John Spinklink's death warrant last month, it became clear to the remaining inmates on Florida's death row they too could soon be facing the electric chair.
I've been on the death row for pretty close to 6 years, and I've never seen it as tense in the week preceding the execution of John Spinklink, and it seemed to grow worse day by day by day. It made everybody really aware of exactly what the stakes are now. Before, it would to a extent for some, it was sort of an abstract thing. But this really drilled home that it was for real. And where I situated in my cell, the area of the execution chamber on Q wing and R wing, where I'm situated, is like an L shape. The hypotenuse going across from my cell to the execution chamber is about 125 feet. So all during the week, with the test runs and the activity, we could see everything that was going on. And it's a vivid reminder of what can happen to any of us.
Afterwards, it was sort of like a depression. You know, everybody was kind of quiet, didn't say very much. Just thinking. It could have been them, or they might be next. You know.
Other inmates told us off camera there's growing tension, but these prisoners aren't talking to reporters. They're afraid if Governor Graham sees their names in print or broadcast, they could be destined for the electric chair. Robert Sullivan's feeling another kind of anxiety. He says being a University of Miami graduate and articulate could be his downfall.
How do you, isn't that...
That very reason alone could get me executed, because all throughout the history of capital punishment, particularly in the South, it's been minorities, the uneducated, illiterate who have been executed. I am the best available sacrificial lamb, so to speak, among the first 10, or in fact, among the first 20 cases in Florida. And that's been something that's weighed very heavily on my mind, that here's Exhibit A, that we will execute someone who is white, middle class, has some education. And I hope to God that if my death warrant is of a sign, that it isn't for something like that.
The clemency board, made up of the governor's cabinet, examines the length of time the prisoner has been on death row and the number of appeals he's been through. Prophet, Henry, and Sullivan's cases are now being reviewed, and all realize their time may be running out.
I had prepared myself, mentally to try to keep myself together. I could be next, ain't no telling. And if it comes to that, what good is fear gonna do? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to bring me out of this madness.
A lot of mornings you wake up, you don't realize where you're at, you know, and you get mad. Sometimes it's very hard to accept that that's what's happening and it's happening. You lose weight, you gain weight, your body system gets upset all the time. You're never right.
Mm-hmm.
When I was out in the streets, I had a weight of about 165, but I have gone down to in weights in the 30s while I've been up here. Well, your body chemistry, your mind, and everything gets messed up. Sure, there's a lot of things that go wrong, but it's livable.
I have thought of what could happen when the appeals do run out, and it's not a pleasant thought. But it's something that I try to think in the positive sense rather than in the negative.
Like most of the other 130 men and one woman on Florida's death row, these 3 prisoners don't believe they deserve the electric chair, claiming it's barbaric and immoral.
They're acting as God, you know, and they say, well, you did this, you did that, we're going to kill you because of that.
I think it would be more humane to blow a guy's brains out. It's quicker, it's painless. He wouldn't even know what hit him.
Being forced to have his leg and his head shaved, and all of the other gruesome things that the administration puts the man through before the electrocution, which is probably the most extreme form of execution that man has devised for his fellow man.
And according to Sullivan, the public is being spared all the gruesome details by not seeing the actual electrocution on television.
I think it's the ultimate hypocrisy that the state wants to have capital punishment to deter crime, and yet when they come to the final end, the execution, they want to hide it as much as possible.
Sullivan, Henry, and Prophet may argue the merits of capital punishment, but they're also accepting the fact the electric chair is waiting, and any one of them could be
I
next.
died a little bit with John Spanklink during the whole period of it, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I know what it was to me, and I'm sure that the pressures and the agony were multiplied 100-fold for that man.
I'm not scared of dying in the electric chair or anything else if I just got to die. I mean, if I don't have any choice, why should I be afraid? You know?
But are you scared it's really going to happen? It's going to become reality?
Well, it is happening now.
Governor Graham isn't saying yet when the next death warrant will be signed, nor whose name will be on it.